Lefty and Penny Joe try to get the show on the road. Penny Joe has dreams of singing on a stage in Nashville. Mandy and Cal are mother and son on the run from a man named Dylan, played by Eric Dane. He's a great actor and a prick on screen. Then there's a ghost shirt that's apparently very valuable, and many people want to sell it on the black market. Hey na 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 na, hey na 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 na, there's a shootout outside the South Dakota town. Hey na 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 na. Hey na 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 na, channeling Tarantino. Hey na 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 na. Americana was written and directed by Tony Tost, who did Longmire and Damnation. Longmire is a pretty fun show. I don't know why it lasted so long, but Netflix picked it up so my parents could enjoy it, so that's a good thing. And this is a modern Western with Sydney Sweeney, with a stammer or stutter as it were, as Penny Joe, a waitress. You also have Paul Walter Hauser, who was recently in the Naked Gun reboot, or sequel, or requel, whatever. He also was the worst part of that movie, but I digress. He plays Lefty Ledbetter, who is a small-town sheriff and tends to latch on to any woman that pays him any mind. They aren't the only people in this pseudo-anthology thing, where you have Mandy, played by Halsey, the singer, yes, the one that was in Maxine. She's actually a terrific actress, and I wish nothing but the best for her. And you also have Eric Dane. Eric Dane is a very good actor. Eric Dane also really plays a villain goddamn well. And you have Gavin Maddox Bergman, which sounds like a name way too snooty to be involved in a production like this, but he plays Cal, who's a kid. And because he is a kid that's adventurous, he also has his deadpan delivery of being the reincarnation of Sitting Bull. No, really, he says that a few times. And you also have other people, such as Simon Rex. Yes, Simon Rex. You may recognize that name. There are other people that you will recognize in this, and it's told over 5 parts, and basically is all over an Indian shirt. An artifact, as it were, a shirt that apparently is worth a whole lot of money, ranging anywhere from like $5,000 to $10,000 all the way up to $150,000. None of this is really spoiling anything, because Americana received a lot of attention on the film festival circuit. This was playing in my town, at the theater in town, as it were, and I decided to go watch it because, why not? I had to work an extra shift, and I got a special screening. I will say this much, the movie is beautifully shot. Sydney Sweeney, she certainly is somebody that gets a lot of attention, for good, bad, or indifferent. Halsey was the one that, to me, was the better actress of the two. But then again, Jesus Christ, you just have to be halfway conscious and you'll be better than Sydney fucking Sweeney. I have yet to see her in a movie. I emphasize movie, because apparently she's good in Euphoria. I ain't gonna fucking watch Euphoria. I've yet to see a movie that she has been in where she's been able to carry it, and been able, or at least be prominently featured, and the movie to not be either boring or completely shit. See Immaculate. Yeah, she did fine, and that closing shot was very iconic, but you could get almost anybody to do that. You can get a dime a dozen Dirty Blonde to do that. Scream on her knees as she's covered. Moving on from that, Sydney Sweeney, I just don't get it. I just fucking don't. So, if it sounds like I'm beating around the bush about what this movie ended up doing for me, well, let me just summarize it by saying this. One cannot simply watch a Tarantino movie. One must also understand the nuances, intricacies, and what makes a Tarantino film work. I'm not the biggest fan of Quentin Tarantino's work, but he understands how to make movies that weave different narratives, different characters, fun. He's like Guy Ritchie with a foot fetish. I have to say right now that I don't get the foot fetish thing, and I never fucking will. I'm not kink shaming. I just look at you guys weird and wonder, what's wrong with you guys? Now, in all seriousness, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a whole lot of fun. That Manson family complex sequence proved that Tarantino could direct a fucking horror movie if he wanted. Unfortunately, Tony, while he has an eye for great cinematography, and to let people have deadpan delivery, really, Gavin is the only one that understood the assignment. Everybody else talented as they may be, except in the case of Sydney, and I don't really think Hauser's all that funny. I just don't. I don't think he's bad, but just something about that guy irks me. Basically, it's told over 5 chapters. We see how, things came to be with the shirt. And really, the movie simultaneously goes places while staying in park. It never even gets out of first gear when it somehow manages to get going. Even with splashes of violence in the third act, it really doesn't end up providing anything except, well, again, good cinematography and pretty good music. And a cool Western feel. At least it has the skin of a Western. It just doesn't have the soul of a Western. This is no Red Hill, which is certainly something that I didn't expect to reference because I just remembered it right now and I need to go rewatch Red Hill and review it at some point. Yeah, it's all over a shirt. And it doesn't really end up going anywhere. It's in theaters if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, basically, Gavin having the deadpan delivery as Cal is actually kind of endearingly stupid. The kid actually isn't that bad, in all seriousness. But Simon Rex plays a character that is pretty much, I guess, classified as the villain. Or one of the villains, shall we say. Part 1, the Old New West. We see that Dylan is trying to get Mandy to go with him. Mandy has her son Cal. They get in a bit of a fight. Dylan's picking on Cal because of his, his interest in Indian stuff and also feeling that he's a reincarnation of Sitting Bull. Oh, that's offensive. Like, Dylan really fucking cares. Eric Dane really does play a great, just stoic villain. But then this ends with a little bit of violence where Mandy is like, hey, we got to go. We got to get going. I'm going to steal his car. They make a point to show the shirt's already in the trunk, so we're going to backtrack a bit. And then she says, you don't want to go with me? Your people are here? Fine. Go to the Whitney's place. I think that's what she said. Could have said the Whitey's place for all I know. And they'll take care of you. And then Dylan tries to come out and shoot. Well, he's going to shoot her. But she's gone with the car. And he's got a gun, but he's been hit on the head. And apparently Cal is a really good shot. He misses him with 2 arrows, but catches him with the third one in the neck, and he dies. And actually, that was kind of that was kind of cool. That opening part wasn't that bad. Then the rest of the film kept going. So, part 2, the Ballad of Lefty and Penny Joe. In all seriousness, was Sydney Sweeney just born, like, with the inability to, like, just get out of first gear? Like, I mean, realistically. And I'm not talking about this character. She just has this look where, like, you could show her a shiny object. And you could easily distract her for 5 hours. So, she works as a waitress. She ends up on the opposite side of Paul Walter Hauser's character, Lefty, who is coming up with a proposal. Well, I'm just your waitress, but then he talks about how she knows how to do all his stuff and that his soon-to-be wife doesn't know any of that stuff. There's a reason for that. They've only gone on 3 dates. And the girl kind of blows him off. After saying, how many women have you proposed to? 3? No, this is 4 this year. I think I proposed to 1 in my life. 1. You got to make that stuff serious, people. So, while all this is going on, we see Dylan very much alive, so this is before all this stuff, talking to a couple people, Simon Rex and another character that doesn't end up making it very long. And they're talking about the money for this ghost shirt thing. Why it's valuable, I don't know. I'd say get John Wayne on it, but he would probably shoot the shirt and shout slurs at it. Google John Wayne and the Academy Awards. I believe it's in 72 or 74, whatever it is. He was not very nice. Tremendous cowboy, though. So, the proposal, by the way, this plan was written on a fucking napkin. I don't know why. And it's, the plan was written on a napkin. I just don't fucking get it. Penny Joe wants to sing. She has a sad life. Living with, I assume, her mother. It could just be a blob with hair, for all I know. That's mean, but I didn't notice the character. I was like, well, okay, whatever. And then we get to the third part. That's the ghost shirt. Masked Eric Dane is somehow way creepier than regular Eric Dane. I kid, of course. Eric Dane is a very, interview-wise, I've seen interviews with him. He seems like a nice guy. I just wish he was featured better in Borderline. But basically, him and one other guy, the guy that doesn't end up making it, they steal the shirt. They shoot people, except one woman, I think, that was passed out drunk. I think. Stuff started to happen, but simultaneously nothing was happening, so I was tuning out at this point. Part 4, The Homecoming. Basically, Mandy has taken off, and she goes back to this compound, this weird Mennonite-type compound where the men are above the women, and the women can't have makeup, they must wear long dresses, all this stuff. I would say none of this is explained, but it's just like, pieces of other movies and anthology stuff, and just put together with a loose narrative. Very loose. So loose that even Sunny thought it was too loose. And then she killed another guy by hitting him with her car. So, Mandy goes back there. She has the car with the shirt. And Lefty and Penny Joe are going to pursue it. Because they tried to get her at the gas station. That didn't end up working. I also refuse to believe that a South Carolina town that's that small has digitized gas pumps like that. But Cal also talks to a character named Ghost Eye and one named Hank. And Ghost Eye actually came up with, the ghost part from Ghost Dog Way the Samurai. And also talked about, you think you're Sitting Bull? Yeah, I used to think that I was Jimmy Superfly Snuka until I was 12. I hope he didn't murder his girlfriend like Jimmy Snuka did. I have lost anybody that's not a wrestling fan, but Google Jimmy Snuka, Nancy Argentino. Like Argentina, but with an O at the end. May 10th of 1983, I believe, or thereabouts. If not the 10th, it's the 9th. Same night that Eddie Gilbert got in a car accident. Okay, deep cut for wrestling fans, let's move on. So, they get there, and there are guns for the men to defend, but the women are just going to be whatever. The mother is Mandy's mother is totally goddamn lost. Cal, meanwhile, gets kidnapped by Ghost Eye and Hank and various others because he's going to lead them. He's going to lead his people to the ghost shirt. So they use him to do that because he's just a kid. And there's a character named Mr. Fuckface. I mean, you can figure out who that is. Mr. Fuckface arrives, was the 5th part. And we get some shooting going, between in both of these chapters, but especially in part 5. And Paul Walter Hauser gets shot at one point, but doesn't die. Yet, at least. And we just get people getting shot, but there is this one cool part in the daytime where the dad ends up actually shooting Lefty and then gets shot with an arrow because the Indian people find him. And they do all this, and then we get shooting going on, and then we have one character say, he couldn't shoot the arrow straight, no wonder we won. Ooh! Oh, Barracuda. No. I mean, I know what the point is, he's a detestable villain, but no. I mean, it didn't offend me or make you knock down the grate or anything. But I go, well, that's kind of out of left field. And basically, it ends up where there's going to be a bunch of money for the ghost shirt. Penny Joe and Cal were captured, but they weren't captured for long. And Penny Joe buys in, kind of plays along with Cal about the Sitting Bull thing. I actually think Sydney Sweeney might have believed he was Sitting Bull. I also don't think she would know who Sitting Bull was if you showed her a picture. But I'll stop knocking Sydney Sweeney one day, but no, I won't, because she showed her true colors, and that's why she should just do Gene ads like Brooke Shields, except Brooke Shields has more talent. And basically, everybody's dead. The villains are at least dead. All the men are dead in the goddamn compound. So Mandy, her mother, and others take off in a truck. The shirt is taken by Cal so he can sit there and give the shirt back to his people. Ghost Eye is still alive. It's either Ghost Eye or Hand. I think it's Ghost Eye. I didn't care at this point. The cause is lost well before this. And Penny Joe takes off with Lefty. And Lefty is basically dying. And instead of driving to a hospital, they do a dramatic thing. And I know it's South Dakota. And they probably didn't have a hospital nearby. You could have tried. But you probably saw the shiny headlights and got confused, Sydney. But he does the whole big proposal thing, and it's supposed to be dramatic and this big emotional thing, and it's not. It's not all. And he ends up dying. And then she takes the money to go pursue her dream in Nashville. While Mandy goes to get her kid, and I guess he's done with the Sitting Bull stuff for, I don't care. I started to hate this the more I thought about it and the more it went on. And even though there are elements that I didn't mind in this, it is just so devoid of, like, great material or even good material. Yeah, it gets an F. I'm sorry. Americana gets an F. Not the Offspring album, but Americana, the movie. The movie, the game, no, I'm kidding. It's like Street Fighter, the movie, the game of the movie. M. Bison should have been in this. Just superimpose Raul Julia's M. Bison in this, and it's 4 stars right there. I don't know how that would work, but it'd be better than some of what we got here. So, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin, and until we go into the desert again, happy trails to you.